We've got some Hey everyone, and welcome to my channel. I'm Nikki, and today's video I'm going to be sharing some recipes with you guys. So I'm finally feeling in the mood for soup season. It's starting to cool off outside, and I have been craving chili specifically, but also some different soups. So today's video I'm going to be sharing 3 different recipes with you guys. One of them being my chili recipe that is super simple and it makes big portions that are only a point. So I'm going to be making that, but today I'm actually starting with a soup I've never made before, and that is going to be a creamy delicata squash soup. So first of all, if you enjoyed this video or find it helpful, please go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And let's get started. Today I'm making a delicata squash soup. I actually used to work in a bakery I've mentioned before, but it was a bakery cafe and we served homemade soups, and that was actually one of the customers' favorite things. They loved the homemade soups. And so I learned a little bit about how to make soup. So I'm kind of just gonna wing this based on what I know, and we're gonna see how it goes. But what I'm gonna do first is roast the delicata squash. So I'm just gonna go ahead and cut it in half, spray it with just a little bit of olive oil spray, and then I'm also just gonna add some everyday seasoning to it, and I'm gonna put it on aluminum foil and roast it in the oven. And I'm probably gonna do that for 30 minutes or so. And while that's roasting, I'm going to start the rest of the stuff. So in a pot, I'm gonna go ahead and add an onion. So I just have a regular yellow onion here. I'm gonna go ahead and chop it up. I'm also gonna add a tablespoon of butter and then some minced garlic. So I'm gonna let that cook up a little bit, and then after that I'm gonna add a few other things. So today I'm using just regular chicken broth. I got this from Sam's Club, but you could use bone broth or even vegetable broth. I feel like that would work just as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and use this today because it's what I have. I'm also going to use some of this Fairlife whole milk. So this is lactose free. For 1 cup, it is 6 points. But I'm actually only gonna use 3/4 cup today for 4 points. So this will add a little bit of protein. It's 13 grams for the cup. And like I said, only 4 points. It's lactose free. And that's just what I'm gonna use today. I don't know how well it'll make it creamy, but I'm hoping it'll work out well. I'm also gonna add some grated Parmesan cheese. So I just have the Great Value Parmesan cheese. I'll probably do about a 1/2 cup, and then we'll see how that goes. So once I've had all that cooking and I add in the delicata squash, which I'm just gonna scoop out once it's roasted, then I'm just gonna toss it in my blender and blend it up to make it a creamy soup. And also in the soup, I'm gonna add some seasonings. So I have salt and pepper, and then also some garlic, herb, black pepper, and sea salt, and then a little bit of onion salt. So that's what I'm gonna be adding. I might add a little bit more oregano too. This has oregano in it, but I might add just a little bit more. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna start with roasting the squash, and then I'll get the onion and garlic cooking, and this shouldn't be that hard to throw together. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this done, and we'll see how it is. For the delicata squash, I just used a grapefruit spoon to scoop out the seeds and the insides, and then I actually ended up cooking the seeds while I baked the delicata squash. I just tossed them in a little bit of olive oil and added some seasoning and baked them with the squash. Then in a pot on the stove, I melted the butter and added the diced onion as well as some minced garlic, and I waited to start this until the squash had already been roasting for about 20 minutes. Then I just added some salt and pepper to this and continued stirring it while it cooked for about 10 minutes. After the squash came out of the oven, I added the whole milk and the chicken broth to the onion. Then you can see the seeds got a little bit overdone, but they were still perfectly crunchy and salty, so we enjoyed them. Then I take the delicata squash and I just scoop out the cooked insides into the pot that I have the other ingredients. Then I mixed in the Parmesan cheese and added the soup to the blender. I just blended it until it was perfectly smooth and poured it back into the pot, and that was it. Okay, so the delicata squash soup is done. It smells a lot like I smell the chicken broth pretty strong. I think that already next time I would do maybe 1 cup less of chicken broth, but I don't know, maybe it's good. I haven't even tried it yet, so we're gonna go ahead and give it a taste test and see what we think, but it blended up pretty well. It's definitely a little bit more on the liquidy side for like a squash soup. I thought it'd be a little bit thicker, but we'll see if it's good. Ready? It's hard to cheers it. Cheers our bowls. Cheers. It was sweeter than I expected.
That's good.
Because of the delicata.
That's actually really good.
Actually?
Okay, that's not what I meant. Because you were guessing yourself on this.
I was nervous about it. It's got a good sweetness.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't add anything sweet to it, but the delicata and the parmesan flavor just really comes through.
Yeah, which is really good.
And I feel like there's like some sweetness from the onion. I think I could have blended it a little bit longer, but I kind of like the chunks of onion in it.
Same.
Okay, I'm happy with it. You like it?
I don't know why. It reminds me of like an Olive Garden soup.
Yeah, it is kind of like, it's got the good garlic flavor. I don't know. I'm happy with it. So
yeah, it's very good.
I got 4 servings from it, and each portion is 4 points, which I think is good for the amount of cheese especially. Yeah. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and eat this. We have some bread that we got from the market, so we're going to eat our soup with bread. And I will be, what'd you say?
It's going to be perfect in there.
Oh, I know. It is. So I will be back with chili. So originally I wasn't even planning on filming today, but I have some ground turkey that's going to go bad, so I need to use it up. And I'm also craving some chili. So I'm going to go ahead and share my chili recipe with you guys while I make a big batch for us. This definitely makes a lot of chili. I usually get 6 servings out of it, and they're pretty big portions, and each portion is only 1 point on WW. So that's what's really nice about it. It's super filling. I like to use it for a bunch of different things, whether I'm just having it in a bowl with like cheese and sour cream, or I put it on a hot dog to make like a chili dog, or a mac and cheese to make some chili mac. We use chili for so many different things. I even make them into wraps sometimes, and they're so good. So anyway, we're gonna be having chili for dinner tonight with some sandwiches. So I'm using my cookbook, which I realize I've been getting more and more comments about people not knowing that I have a cookbook, and I just feel like I talk about it a lot, and I don't want to talk about it too much, but I guess I need to talk about it a little bit more because I do have a cookbook, if you guys don't know, with pretty much all the recipes that I share on my channel. And one of those recipes is the chili that I'm going to be making today. So one other thing about my cookbook too is that in the back there is a page that has a QR code on it. And if you scan this QR code, it takes you to my site, and on there it has a link to all the points of all the recipes and all the calories, macros, everything. So anyway, I'm going to be making this chili today. It's only 1 point for the serving, and it makes 6 servings, and let me show what is in it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is start cooking the turkey breast. So here I just have 98% lean, which is 0 points on WW. You could use a higher point meat. You could use ground beef. You could use like regular ground turkey or ground chicken. I've done all of those things before. I just prefer to keep it lower point and higher protein with the 99% lean. I feel like it works really well with the chili, so I just like to use that. But like I said, you can use any meat. But I'm gonna go ahead and put this into my pot. I have a giant pot on the stove that I'm gonna heat up to medium-high heat and just cook the turkey. First, I'm just gonna spray it with some olive oil spray though, and then add the turkey to it. So after that's pretty much cooked, I'm gonna go ahead and add some diced onion, a diced bell pepper, and then some jalapenos, which I don't know if I have any. I'm gonna go check my garden and see if I have any fresh ones, but I just dice those up and add those to the meat once it's cooking. And while that's cooking, I'm also going to go ahead and strain the beans that I'm using. So today I'm using pinto beans, dark red kidney beans, and then light red kidney beans. Usually I would use black beans, but I don't have any. I got them for this recipe and then I already used them on accident, so I don't have any black beans right now. But those 3 beans will work just as well. I also add a can of corn, so I need to strain this out because I'm gonna be adding that in. Then I add a can of diced tomatoes, fire roasted diced tomatoes. Both of these I just strain out as well. And then I add a can of tomato sauce, which this is just from Trader Joe's. So all of those things are 0 points. Then to that, I'm gonna add a carton of chicken broth. This is 32 ounces, and I just got this one from Sam's Club. Then I just like to use 2 packets of this chili seasoning. So it's just the McCormick chili seasoning. I got the 30% less sodium, and that is what I add before I add the vegetables in. So I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking up the turkey and get all these cans strained so I can assemble the chili, and then it pretty much just has to cook over medium-low heat for a little bit until it's done. So I'm gonna get that started. Okay, so I'm finished making the chili. I got 6 servings and this is one of them. So this is a big bowl. It's still super hot and it's been done for like 20 minutes now, but I just let it simmer for about 25 minutes today and it looks really good. So I'm excited to eat this, but I still have to wait for it to cool down a little bit. I would try a bite right now, but it is seriously still so hot. So 1 point for this entire portion. Sometimes I like to add some shredded cheddar, some chopped onions, jalapenos, or sour cream, which I might add a dollop of sour cream now, but that is it. Okay, so we are moving on to the third soup recipe in this video, and I am making potato soup. So partially requested by Adam because he loves potato soup, and also because I have some Fairlife whole milk that I need to use. I used it for the other recipe and I just want to use it for this. The rest of it I'm probably going to use for some creamy recipes, but I need to use it up soon. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing. I've already gone ahead and entered the recipe. This one's another one where I'm kind of just winging it based off of what I know with potato soup, but I think this is going to be really good, so I'm excited, and it'll be a little bit lower point than normal. Right now I have it set to make 4 servings, so with soup it's tough because usually I like to have a big serving of it, but I feel like other people usually get like 6 servings out of a batch, so we'll see how it goes, how much it actually makes. If it is like a huge serving, maybe it will be 6 portions that I get, but as of right now, I have it set to 4 servings, so we'll see how it goes. With that, it makes it 7 points for that serving. So what I'm going to be doing is using some center cut bacon. I'm just going to use half this package, so I'm going to go ahead and cut the pieces up just using some kitchen scissors, and I'm going to cook them in the pot. Once they're done and pretty much crisped up, I'm going to go ahead and take the bacon pieces out and leave the bacon grease in there, and then I'm going to cook up an onion with some carrots. So I'm going to cook that for a little bit with some garlic as well. Then I'm going to peel and dice up these potatoes and add those with 4 cups of vegetable stock, which this is just vegetable broth. It's low sodium. It is 10 calories per cup, and I'm going to use the entire thing. So the entire thing's 1 point on WW. That adds a point to the recipe. But really the only things that I'm going to need to track are that, the bacon, the potato, and the milk. Anyway, once I have everything in the pot other than the milk, I'm gonna go ahead and let that simmer or boil for like 20 to 30 minutes so that the potatoes get cooked. And then I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mix the milk in, and then I'm gonna take half the soup and blend it and leave the other half in there because I wanna keep some of the potato chunks. But yeah, I've got some green onions as well to top it with. We've got some bacon. We've got some cheddar cheese as well, so maybe I'll use some of that, but we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and start with cutting up the onion, the potatoes, the carrots, and getting the bacon started. I used some kitchen scissors to chop up the bacon, and I just added it to the pot. And then I just saved the other half and cooked it to use for breakfast and other things I had it prepped in the fridge for. But while the bacon was cooking, I just peeled the carrots and chopped them up as well as the onion. I also peeled the skin off of the potatoes and diced those up for the soup as well. Once the bacon was done cooking, I just scooped it out onto a paper towel, and then I used the remaining bacon grease in the pot to cook the carrots and onions. I cooked the onions until they were pretty much translucent. Then I added in the diced potatoes as well as the vegetable broth. Then I just covered the soup and let it simmer and boil for about 30 minutes, and I just stirred occasionally. Then after that was done, I went ahead and added in the whole milk, and I just mixed it together. I scooped out about half of the potato and carrot chunks and added some of the liquid as well, and I just blended that up. Once it was blended, I added it back to the pot with the liquid that I didn't blend, and then I mixed it all together. Okay, so the soup is done, and as I was blending it, I realized that because I was like, oh, we'd rather have more of the potato chunks, so I started scooping more of the carrots into the blender, and I realized that I probably added too many carrots to this soup, but it might taste a little bit overpoweringly of carrots, so we'll see. It looks really good. It looks like it's actually a really good consistency, and I just put the bacon chunks back in there. There's still some chunks of potato, and then usually we just put the green onion on top, but I just decided to mix it all in.
How are you holding that?
It's pretty hot.
It is pretty hot.
Okay. So this is a 7-point serving. I ended up getting 4 servings, but this is big. It was like 3 big ladles full, so.
Get a potato chunk.
Cheers.
That is perfect. That is like the perfect amount. That tastes so much more like potato.
It needs a little bit of salt and pepper. It's really good.
That's very good. That tastes...
It's actually really good. I think it's good with a little bit of the chunk in it too. Like I like having the chunks of potato and carrots, but also having it blended out instead of being like a brothy soup.
This like reminds me of something. I don't know what it is.
I don't know, but it's good.
So good.
I'm gonna add a little bit more salt and pepper, and actually I might sprinkle some cheese on top because that'll add some good flavor to it. But yeah. Okay, so that wraps it up for this video. So I will have the recipes typed up for all of these, and yeah, I hope you guys find this helpful. If you did, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. Okay, so what was your favorite soup out of all of them?
Out of all of them, honestly, probably the Delicata Squash one.
Really? You like it more than this one?
Yes.
Okay, even after having the leftovers?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the leftovers were even better.
I thought the leftovers were better too, actually, because it has a really good like sweetness to it.
Yes.
With the parmesan.
I think that's, the little sweetness was good.
I bet these leftovers will be better too, because once the flavor sets in a little bit more, it's even better.
Yeah.
But
how about you?
I really like the Delicata Squash too. I did like that one. I like this one too, though. This
Yeah.
is what I've been craving, so right now this is what I would say, but they're all really good. And the chili's just a classic, which we still have some leftovers in there. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time.